There we go.
There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Same Storm, Different Boat. Today, we've got two lovely ladies with us, Krista and Baylee. I have had we actually both had the distinct pleasure to watch these girls grow up. We've known you guys for about a little over 10 years.
Yeah.
So we saw you as littles blossom into these
Seriously?
beautiful young ladies. And we are super excited to talk to them. This really piqued my interest to chat with you guys and pick your brain, because hearing from a high school student and a college student, I think, is going to share with our listeners some really unique perspective. So we'll kind of get right into it.
Well, quick question. Seeing as how I've missed 10 years of life, Krista, are you a senior this year?
Oh, is she frozen?
Krista froze.
She froze.
Oh.
Baylee would know. Krista, are you a senior this year?
I am a junior this year.
A junior. Okay, so there's one. All right. Just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure what whether she was a senior that wasn't able to graduate.
Oh,
we had
right.
that conversation
We
in
did
advance.
have that conversation.
Yeah,
So,
all right.
all right. Well, we'll kind of jump in here. Baylee, you are at college at University of Miami, and college was still in session when this all started, right?
Yeah,
You're living on campus or in and around.
on campus.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what's been the biggest disappointment not being able to be on campus for this last part of the college year, around your friends? Did you have plans to take classes during the summer? What has this all kind of done to your schedule?
Yeah, so I think definitely the most disappointing part of like not being able to finish off the semester was not being able to like properly send off the seniors, because like a lot of them had already gone home, and like a lot of other kids had already gone home, because like this actually happened right in the middle of our spring break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people went home for spring break thinking they were coming back next week and just were never able to come back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did this work as far as people's left their belongings in the dorms?
Yeah.
How did that all work? Did you have did the school make a schedule for you to come back and get your stuff? That just has to be mind-boggling.
Yeah. So they just started coming out with, there's something on the 15th that we have to like sign up for a time to come back. And they're trying to make sure that people are coordinating with their roommates so that they're not coming in to get their stuff at the same time. I had people who, like, when they found out that they weren't going to be able to come back, like, for the rest of the semester, drove down then to pick up their stuff. But I have a lot of friends who still haven't picked up their stuff and are still just living basically out of the suitcase that they brought home for spring break.
Right, because now you happen to be drivable.
Yes.
To U of M. But
Yes.
you have friends, I'm sure, that flew home and their stuff is just sitting there, whether it's technical devices or, I'm sure everyone left with their phone and their iPad, but
Yeah.
all that stuff, that has to be a little unnerving.
Yeah.
I mean, I like my stuff. I need my stuff with me.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. Did you have plans to take classes during the summer?
So I was hoping to be able to work this summer because I'm a security assistant, so I like swipe people into the buildings and stuff like that. So if you work for them over the summer, they pay for your housing and you can stay on campus. So I wanted to do that, and I wanted to get a research internship, hopefully on campus or at the medical school campus. But they need less security assistants now because less people are coming. Like, the only people who are staying for the summer are like international students and students who it's safer for them to stay at school than it is for them to go home, so they need a lot less people to work. And I think that they prioritized people who were staying and working over quarantine, which I didn't end up doing.
Wow.
So I'm staying home now. Yeah.
But, I mean, I have to say, we adult in our lives and we do our day-to-day.
Mm-hmm.
But to sit and talk, like, to hear these ins and outs, these are just things you don't even think about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have ever really thought about the kids that got stuck, couldn't go home, people that live out of country and whatnot. So really interesting.
Yeah.
One follow-up to something you said. I know that you're studying pre-med,
Yeah.
and that you wanted to be work in a lab. What was it that you said that you were looking to do? Lab tech or?
Yeah, so for medical school, like a lot of medical schools like to see that you have research experience. So I was looking to be like a lab assistant and hopefully be able to get published under a mentor over this. Yeah.
So in the midst of this quote unquote new virus, this new situation, has that steered you towards virology or the origins of these kind of viruses in any way?
So not necessarily. I have always been really interested in genes and DNA. So this is definitely like um, further sparked that interest because I'm really interested in like how genes are transmitted through like bacteria and through people and stuff like that. So the way that this virus spreads is through like gene transfer and stuff like that. That's really, really interesting to me. And if I could get any kind of like lab experience working with something like that, I would be really interested.
Wow. So this whole what we try to do is when we have these sessions, there's always some little positive thing that comes out. So
Yeah.
for you, this is really it's an interesting time because it's something that you're interested in studying, and it's not all really doom and gloom. I'm going to jump to Krista here for a second. You've had a very interesting school year.
I have.
You started out your junior year in an art program in Napa, which I have to say I was had the honor of going to the graduation part and meeting up with the whole family, and I absolutely adored it. It was an amazing thing to see and an amazing school. But you spent the whole entire first semester really far from home, really far from your school and your friends. You come back after Christmas break and you start back in January, and in what, 8 short weeks, 9-10 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
Boom, this all hits. What has this been like for you?
I mean, it's definitely been interesting. It's not exactly what I was expecting for my junior year, which is supposed to be like the hardest year going into high school. I think I'm grateful to have experienced all of it. I feel like no matter what comes out of this, I feel like I know that I'm able to adapt and to go through everything that has gone through this year and know that it's going to be okay and I'm going to find something that I enjoy in it. Hasn't exactly been easy though. When I got back from California, I switched into 6 AP classes, where in California I was only in 1. So I spent that time while I was in school, like just trying to like catch up on everything, which was super difficult. But actually when I got into online school, it actually gave me the time and like the space where I could catch up on all that work that I missed. And there were so many resources, like there's so many resources online that just so much more exposure for them. So I was able to actually catch up to my classes there.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
That's, what a year.
Yeah.
But I guess you did say it right. You said, I know now I can roll with the flow and adapt pretty much to anything. You, where your studies are concerned, you did the first half of the year one way and then did the second half of the year the other way. I'm going to throw you guys a little curve in here because before Wayne jumps back in, pros, cons, love, hate, online learning. You've both done it. One is college, one is high school. What do you think?
I think there are definitely like goods and bads of it. I feel like in a classroom setting, online it's really hard to get like bounce off of each other and have the same energy that you have in a classroom. You don't have that one-on-one with the teacher, but there are definitely some advantages to it. I have more time to study and to do my work. There isn't really a separation between classwork and homework, which has been a little difficult. Like making that in life is like really hard right now. But I feel like there are more resources now online, which have helped a lot.
College, what how's that been?
I really don't like it. And I think that's how a lot of college students feel because a lot of us have become like really used to the campus environment and like how that motivates us and like studying in groups and stuff like that. So, and like you can study on Zoom and all that, but it just doesn't translate the same. And like the best part of college is college life, and to still have the like school part without the college life part has been not my favorite. And a lot of my teachers have been trying really, really hard to make their lectures interesting. And I had one teacher who would do like a joke of the day and or like a positive story of the day, which was really sweet. And it was nice because I was taking a child psych class this semester because like one of my majors is psychology, and the teacher was like bringing her kids in and she was having them answer questions for us, and she was like, this is what a child in this stage of development and how they answer these kind of questions, which was really cool and like interactive like that. But definitely the transition for some tests and stuff has been really, really hard to get used to. So it's not my favorite. I don't really like it.
We spoke to some people who were friends of ours from Chicago that are professionals in the education world, school principals and administrators, and we learned something from them. There is a movement. I'm not trying to stir controversy at the U of M, but there's a movement from college students who are actually suing their universities because the online learning experience is so inferior to what you just described. Going to class, being around other people, exchanging ideas. So I get what you're saying. As you graduate up through schooling, you want to be there on a campus, going to a class and get that energy going to meet up with people. Question for Krista, where are you headed towards an arts type of college when you go? Is that your goal? Because you've got big sister going, pre-med locally. What are your ambitions for what kind of school you're going to go to?
I'm definitely looking at an art school. I really love the combination between them, honestly, finding where visual arts and fine arts intersect with the STEM. So I'm looking for something in that area, but I definitely want to get out of Florida, go somewhere a little bit more north, a little less hot.
I hear you. A little less humid.
Yeah, a little less hurricaney.
Yeah. Wow. So I think what I hear you both saying to some degree is that you really do, it's okay, online learning is okay, but having that camaraderie, having that time with your peers to study, to bounce ideas off, is you even with the technology that we have, you can't really recreate that so very much. Interesting. That's, and again, something I never really thought about. I just thought all kids hated school. You know what I mean? No, seriously, I thought, oh God, it's drudgery. But it is interesting to hear that, wow, we kind of do, we miss this.
Well, and schooling is so social. There is so much social about it, especially you start changing classes, you start seeing people in the hall, you start seeing people on campus. It's a very, and you're in motion. You're not just sitting, looking. And I'm curious about something for both of you. When you do online, are you just looking at individual resources and researching, et cetera, or are you in any Zoom classes? Are you in a situation where can the teachers see you? And so if you decide, I got to go to the bathroom, and can you just walk out and come back, or no, you're being monitored all the time?
Yeah, so all of my lectures are on Zoom. I think I had one teacher who like posted her lectures, and I actually ended up like not watching them because I didn't like to actually listen to her lectures in class anyway. I kind of just read the textbook, and that was how I learned. But every other class I was in class for and in the lecture for, but I kept my camera off because I wanted to be able to,
If
do whatever I wanted.
In my PJs, I'll be in my PJs.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the AP classes for high school? Are those group gatherings?
I mean, it kind of depends on which classes. I have 2 art classes that are AP classes. So usually my teacher will kind of like put forward like an assignment or like a directive for the end of the week, and we kind of have to work on our own time. Some classes do it like that. Some I have like full meeting discussion classes with. But I mean, it's weird to like go to the bathroom or like need to get a bowl of water because I'll turn my camera off and I feel like I feel like they're going to think I'm doing something that I'm not, but I really just need to go to the
Everybody
bathroom.
knows
I
you
don't,
just
yeah,
everybody knows you just left the room for
Yeah.
whatever.
exactly.
What did either of you guys have projects? And Krista, maybe this is more for you with the art, but where you had to, or and I don't even know if you had any classes where you had to build, make, create an actual project. Like I know you worked on you worked on a lot of projects at the Napa school, but you had one project that I think spanned the whole entire time, and it was a big presentation at the end. Did you have, or was that in place? Did it get replaced? Did it just get X'd off the list? What about that?
So for my 2 art classes, they have portfolios that I need to send as my AP like exam. So we still have to produce a certain amount. The limit, like the number that I had to produce was shortened because of quarantine, because of the coronavirus. But I still have like a certain amount, and my teachers are still assigning things that I need to complete. I did recently have a project in my sculpture class where I had to create something based off of how I was feeling during quarantine. So they asked us to like create different things, like combine different materials that we have around the house. So they're trying to make it more accessible to everyone. So they even gave us resources. Like, here's this person, she made it out of popsicle sticks. This person made it out of tissue paper, kind of like going different things.
Right. Baylee, what about, I don't know if you were doing any of this, but if you did, or if you know of students that had to go to labs to do research and to do work, I mean, what's happened with that? Obviously you can't go. A lab's the last place some people want to go.
Yeah, so I actually, my lab that I was working in a lab before this, I was doing HIV research at a lab in Miami at the Miller campus. But she actually was like moving at the end of May anyway. So there was like no point in me trying to continue to like help her. And I was mostly doing like organizational stuff. So if I wasn't in person, there was almost no point. And also I know a lot of labs were still doing the research, or research was delayed, but it was like all non-essential personnel left. So any undergrads were like not allowed in the lab anyway.
Wow.
But I had a lab class that I was taking. I was taking Orgo 2 lab. And that was like graded, so we still had to do that. So he just, the professor who was in charge of like the whole lab section, he just recorded a video of him doing the labs, and then we just had to write the lab reports and submit them virtually.
So do you both feel like you grasped as well learning this way, especially in those 2 types of classes that we just talked about, versus being there and doing it? Do you feel like you understand it and it soaks in as well? Or do you feel like a little like, crap, I wish I could have been in the actual lab or the actual art class doing it, as opposed to either watching a pre-recorded thing or doing it the way we're doing this call?
So for me, at least, I think the lab classes, I actually learned what I felt like was more from the videos than from doing it, because a lot of times, honestly, like the TAs are all like PhD students, and they're looking at the lab for the first time, like when we are as well. So the guy who was doing the labs for us was like, he was the one who made them.
Okay.
So as he was doing them, he was explaining why he was doing them and like what he was doing and like how he was making it run faster. And honestly, the labs take like, they're like 2.5 hour blocked classes.
Wow.
And yeah, most of them take the whole time, because we don't know what we're doing. Like, this is our first time ever touching stuff like this. Like, everything that would take a really short amount of time when when the professor did it, took forever.
Right.
When we did it. So it was like a 2.5 hour class got shortened to like 15 minutes or 30
Wow.
minutes.
Okay. Interesting.
So, and then we did all the pre-lab stuff, and all the post-lab stuff was the same. So it was still the same reading. It was just abbreviated class time. But I do wish I could have gotten to learn some of the procedures. That is something that I was upset that I missed out on.
Right. What about you, Krista?
For sculpture, I did do a few calls with my teacher just to try to like explain what I wanted to do, which was difficult to do like over the call. And I had to show her like my progress, so it was also difficult to like translate. But I mean, I feel like I got what I needed from it. I feel like she was able to give me like the right advice and the right like direction for it. For my other classes, it's a little difficult to explain that for, because at this point in our in like our year, we're just like reviewing. So I'm not sure if I really had the chance to see if online school would have helped me grasp more or less of the knowledge that I needed.
Yeah, got you.
In general, the other people that you stay in touch with or
Friends.
attend classes with, and so on and so forth, good friends, new acquaintances, whatever they might be, what's the general morale for the high school junior looking forward to senior year, not really sure if and when classes will start, how it's going to look, will it be masked, will it be social distance, and so on and so forth? The question for both of you, but I'll start with Krista, because you're in one environment, you're in a little bit more open environment. What do your friends feel?
Overall, I mean, I'm sure my friends and I are very disappointed. Like, there are certain things that we're going to miss. We missed our junior prom and we missed senior blackout, which is where all the seniors in our school wear just black. And we're supposed to have our first blackout.
So you can identify them really easily?
Yeah, basically. So it's like they know, everyone knows who we are.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have our first one at the end of this year, and my friends and I are disappointed about that, but I'm sure I can speak for us when I say that I am pretty grateful the fact that this isn't our senior year, and this is a somewhat convenient time for us. I'm pretty sure like that's just going forward, there's not much we can do about it, and I know that I'm just grateful that I had like the experience that I did, and moving forward, I guess I'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about at the colleges?
So our president of my college has been super it seems like he's looking really hard to get us in for fall, and he's like really preparing to make us come back, and we're all terrified that we're not going to be able to go back to school, because like, I mean, this is supposed to be like the best time of your life, you know, it's what everybody tells you when you start college. So to miss out on any amount of time, it just feels like a huge loss. And so we all like, what we really want is we want to go back. And I think that morale is low because we miss each other, and we miss being in class, and we miss campus and everything that comes with campus life. And tailgates we're probably not going to be able to have next semester, like, but football is going to be different because they won't be able to have a stadium. So I think that we're all like, generally it's just everyone's like really apprehensive. We don't know how to feel. We know that our president is trying to get us back, but like, we don't know what that's going to look like necessarily. And things are going to be very, very different. Like meetings, they don't want to have general body meetings anymore. So like my fraternity chapter will have to be done via Zoom, which is really disappointing. So it's, yeah, we're really
I hadn't even gone to the sports issue. It's such an integral part of school. I mean, high school and college and whatever. And the U of M certainly has huge sports programs that all of you want to participate in and be part of. And that's that rug's been pulled out too. I hadn't even gone there yet.
Well, and I didn't, again, the fraternities and the sororities, I didn't even think about that really, because that is a huge part of college life. These are, I've had to eat a little crow, and I'll tell you why. Because way back when this started, I made a post in my social media to seniors that, yes, you did miss this stuff, but the lessons you will have learned from it will be bigger and greater than you can ever imagine, and blah, 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 blah. But that was because it was in the very beginning. And I think, like many people, we thought a few weeks of this and then we'll be back. Right. I don't want to say normal, but the way things were, and the kids will go back to school and the proms will happen. As this has gone on, my heart hurts because for you guys, your whole entire life, our whole entire lives, we're taught, we think about our senior years of high school and college. Like those are, you know, everybody's elementary school, yeah, you have your little graduations and things are different and whatever, but it's not that big of a deal. But you hear your whole entire life about, you know all about everything that goes on in your senior year, and you hear your parents talk about how great their college life was and the college experience and la 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 la. And now, ba-boom, you don't know what it's going to look like. And so I had to retract a little bit about what I said, because those things are absolutely not replaceable. You can't go back and do your junior prom, because it's not going to mean the same thing. You know, the bells and the dress and the place and the thing, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy.
We don't want to make them cry.
I know, but it's going to make me cry too. I'm going to switch gears from school a little bit. Biggest challenges for you being home with the parents. What have you been doing outside of your, if you have extra time, you guys both have lots of class load. What have you been doing to stay busy? How do you interact with your friends? Just share a little bit, each of you, about that.
I think family-wise, we've been like, we all have like our own rooms where we want to like be by ourselves, but once we go in the kitchen, the living room, we'll all just have like a group together, like we'll powwow. It's like whatever we want to talk about that day, which is great. After school, every day I go on a walk with my mom, and I go paddleboarding with my dad on Sunday morning on the lake behind our house.
Although I heard there's an alligator.
Yeah, there have been. We avoided them. It's okay. But it's good to like get out of the house. And in terms of my friends, like FaceTime calls, communicating like while we're on Zoom calls with our teachers in our classes, I'll have like a separate thing with my friends just so we can like talk to each other. So it kind of has somewhat of a mirror dynamic that we would have in the classroom.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing.
So I'm actually done with school. I was like my last day was last Wednesday.
Okay.
So I kind of just took the next 2 days or so, or I think 4 days after that, to just kind of like relax, and I slept a lot. But yeah, like, but right now one of my best friends is visiting, because he actually stayed at, like, he was staying at camp, like not on campus because they kicked everyone off campus, but he was like living in a house nearby campus, and he was social distancing like with his roommates. So he's now on his way back home and just like stopped. So I've been hanging out with him, but I think that once he leaves, I'm gonna play ukulele. I'm trying to pick up ukulele. I've started doing some like paint by numbers and stuff like that, like playing video games and watching movies. And I've been FaceTiming my friends, definitely. Like that, the first like 2 or 3 days after school ended, I had like more FaceTime calls than I think that I have had the whole semester, because we were all like, what do we do now? And so all started FaceTiming more.
Well, that's kind of you know how it is after you unwrap all the Christmas presents and Christmas morning is over, and then it's kind of like, oh, you know, we've waited all this time for that. Is that
Right.
kind of how it is now? Like, now what?
Kind of, but like Christmas is fun and school was not fun. So that's the only difference. But yeah, it's the same kind of feeling, like what do I do now? But there's definitely more relief with the end of this semester. It's just the big thing that was occupying my time is over, and I don't have anything else to fill it, really.
Right,
so.
Right.
So did you get, have you gotten quote unquote grades yet for?
Most of them, I've gotten most of my grades back. I've gotten all of them back, but my orgo grade, she hasn't posted. All of my other teachers, because usually what happens is they don't actually post your grades. You don't really know what you get until they submit them, and you get them on like your like transcript.
Right.
So, but this semester, because we did pass fail, like you could choose classes you wanted to take pass fail, and you had until the end of the semester. All the teachers tried to get their grades in by that pass fail deadline, so that we could know if we needed to pass fail any of them.
So you've still got, Krista, you've still got some tests going on, or you're
I had my first AP test. It was calculus yesterday. I have them for this week and next week, and then after that I have 1 more week of school, and then that's it.
I don't even know how to spell calculus.
I'm tired.
No, I'm kidding.
It's too bad you guys aren't
Overachievers.
doing something,
I know,
intelligent
right?
or something.
You guys are
Just hang out
you're
a
just
bit.
blowing off the whole year, not doing anything important. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. Thoughts, perspectives on what this has done to you guys, to your life, anything that you've learned about yourselves that you care to share, or that you see in general with your peers that this has brought on?
You want to take the lead on that one, Bailey?
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, learning about myself, I've learned that I like need a lot more social interaction than I thought that I did. Because I'm very used to like the campus environment, which is like, until I moved into this apartment that I moved into at the end of like, or the middle of sophomore, it's spring semester, like the beginning of spring semester, basically.
Right.
I've lived with somebody who wasn't my friend the rest of college. So I was like never in my room, never by myself, because like both of the girls that I lived with both were in the room a lot.
Right.
And when I go in my room, I like to be by myself. So it was just like I was always out, I was always doing things, I was always seeing people. I didn't spend a lot of time by myself. Like I was in somebody else's room or getting like breakfast or dinner or lunch with someone. So this has been a very strange transition for me, and like because I'm having to learn how to be alone in a way that I like really haven't had to since college started.
Wow, interesting. Anything for you, Krista?
I feel like this experience has given me more of an understanding of myself and like, more control over my feelings. At the beginning, I kind of was apathetic about it because it's like you're having less experiences, you're doing less, and there's just more, it's like more lethargic. But I felt like I had more control. Like once I understood that, I was able to like mark time for myself, mark time to do art, mark time to do this. And it gave me more of a sense of like understanding of what I needed in order to
Interesting.
go forward.
One last thing. You guys are, you're Greek. You have a Greek family. Family is very important. Family gatherings are lots of fun. I've been a part of some of them. Have you been able to see Papu and Vivian?
Yes,
Yeah.
we have actually. We're both social distancing at our own houses, and when they come over, they'll wear masks, or we'll both wear masks, and we won't be able to like interact physically, but we get to see them, we get to interact with them. And Mom actually downloaded cribbage on her phone and Papu's phone, so we're playing games that way. We're finding
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and we've been doing these like weekly family Zoom calls. So we've been seeing a lot of like the cousins and the uncles and stuff like that. So, and we did like Mother's Day calls and stuff. So that's been really nice to keep in touch.
Yay. And they're good? Everyone's good?
Yeah, everyone's good. Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys, it's great to see you both. I'm going to have to go back and look through the calendar and find out where 10 years went, but it sure is great to talk to you, and congratulations on both of your successes in such widely varied areas. But I know how deep the college experience with pre-med must be for you.
Yeah.
And I saw the depth of what you were doing with your art and your projects, and the explanation of it was you're using art to make your comment on humanity, and it was moving. Both of you are doing great things, so
Thank you.
keep it up. Stop growing older though, because I deal with this. Okay.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We'll send you guys the link. Share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
If any friends want to share, we would love it. We're going to keep this thing going, and so this has been really awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
Great to see
Love
you.
you guys. Take
Love
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.